line today, so you're gonna get this today. But hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Olalit Ensemble review. Giggity. Anywho, but welcome to All Elite Ensemble, your weekly AEW review show here at BC WrestlePod. I am Mikey, also known as El Jefe of BC WrestlePod, also known as Allergies Can Suck a Duck. Anyways,
that sucks. I'm sorry.
My sinuses are acting up, but I will take just my sinuses where I was a couple of weeks ago, and these boys can attest to it, where I was physically dying in my chair trying to get through the AEW review.
Oy.
But like, get your flu shot, kids, because you don't want to get sick out here. Also, allergy season. Take your allergy medication because it is important out here. But of course, on that little tangent, I want to introduce my host for the evening because I can't do this without them. I mean, I could, but I don't want to because it's boring. And it's a lot of work to do this by myself because I would have to cover this review and the predictions of Wrestle Dream by myself, and that would not be fun. Anyways, but first and foremost, joining us this evening is the TJ Misu Master themselves, JVL. Love you to death. Happy to have you here.
Glad to be here, Mikey, and glad to take some pressure off your sinuses.
I appreciate that. Also, we really need to create a cookbook with all the nicknames you get. So it'd be like, what is this? The All Elite Ensemble cookbook with all of...
It's the All Elite Ensemble Cordon Bleu cookbook.
Genius. We're gonna put it on paper right now and trademark that.
But hell, I got recipes out. I could make them right now. I'll put them together. We should actually do this.
Be like, yes, that is gonna be that is gonna be the hottest item of the season. You know what? Just in time for Christmas, and get your wrestling fans something they love: food and wrestling terminology. Coming to you soon. The BC WrestlePod Cordon Bleu.
I just got to work on my Photoshop skills to make sure I have all of the AEW photographs and then the actual pieces of food that's on them.
That would be amazing. But of course, rounding out our trio for this evening is Benny the Bear. So happy to have you here.
Greetings and salutations, friends and internet people. Let's rock and roll.
Party. So, before we get into everything, and I channel my inner Adore Delano for this review, a little bit of announcements, housekeeping, however you want to call it. We're going to make this really quick. You already know the drill. Where, if you want to see more of our stuff here, we are on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So you can subscribe, follow us, get a sub, whatever you want to do. And whichever your preferred video consumption platform is, we support you. But we also understand that full-length reviews may not be for you. But if you want to still interact with us on a small scale, then I would love for you to follow us at BC WrestlePod on all the social media sites. We're pretty much everywhere.
Please do that.
Please do, because we do all the report cards. We give you previews of all the TV shows that are happening this week to tell whether or not you should tune in. And for the majority of things, you should, because wrestling is a lot of fun. But the social medias is also where we have a bunch of announcements, like what you can expect for the whole entire week, as well as when new merchandise drops. And, when we do watch-alongs, like I did this past Sunday for TNA's Bound for Glory. It was a glorious 4 hours. And we're going to talk about more on that on Friday. But, we do a lot of things here. But if you want to take it a step further outside of, watching us on videos or following us on the social medias, if you want to help us keep the metaphorical and physical lights on sometimes, we have two ways that you go about doing it. The first one is our little friend, the Coffee Bot, will be popping in ever so often throughout this review. And if you feel inclined to do so, you can click that link and donate to the BC WrestlePod Coffee, where this helps keep the lights on, helps us pay for pay-per-views, and all sorts of other stuff. But if you want to support us the other way financially, while also getting something for yourself in return, then I highly recommend that you buy merchandise from us at our merch store, bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. And like a SNL Stefan skit, this shop has everything.
And more.
And more. It's got Hot Lucha Summer. It's got this Botox Skeletors. It's got everything. And you know what? Just go check it out for yourself. It is crazy. We have a whole bunch of stuff. We have our fall collection. For 24 more hours, we're entering in the final day of our Latino Heritage Month collection, which will be going away tomorrow night, as it is the end of Latino Heritage Month, which is crazy that it goes from September 15th to October 15th. It's like the weirdest way that they broke it up. I don't make the rules, but it's kind of stupid. But we also have our spoopy collections, Botox Skeletor and Ode to Grindhouse and the Flair that is currently still wrestling, which is really great. But we also have something for the kids and for all of you more comedic-based folks, because we have our Monster Mash shirt, where our Squatch Match mascot, the lovable abdominal Sasquatch in a lucha mask, is dancing around with your classic Halloween monsters. Yes, exactly. Think of wrestling and Scary Godmother combined into one design, because it's great. Also, if you have children and not have showed them Scary Godmother 1 and 2, please do so, because they are missing out on greatness. Anyways,
it's on the list.
I know. It's so good. Oh my goodness. But without further ado, if you want to go to the shop, link in the description of this video as well as the chat. But now
I'm going right now.
Do it. Bookmark that.
Drop the elbow on that link.
Drop the elbow on the link. But with that out of the way, let's get into why we're here this evening, gents. Oh, these graphics were so pretty. Graphics are
one show
so much
seems
fun.
to have way more women than the other ones, and one of them likes Mercedes.
Oh my goodness. But yeah,
I've seen the one on the left. I think I've seen something that started that way with a couch and a bunch of guys behind it. Anyway.
Oh no. Oh no.
I mean, am I wrong? Look at the damn graphics.
I know. I'm not saying that this needs to be a roster split, because there is more talent than what appears on these graphics. But at the same time, I was just like, listen, you don't have to officially say it's a small roster split, but let's can we have a definitive roster split? I don't know. Anywho,
well, no, even so, like this looks like the Dynamite one looks like basically if you're playing ECW on 2K25, because there's no women's title, so you don't really draft any women, and the other side is fun. So in general, I think I know what show I want to watch more.
Well, specifically this week. So we had to contend with a whole bunch this past week, because Dynamite was on Tuesday because we had Title Tuesday. A friend of mine pointed this out. It's like, if it's Title Tuesday, shouldn't you have more than 2 titles on the line? I'm like, you know what? That's kind of facts. But I was just
you shut up with your logic and your sound reasoning.
Shout out to my friend Uriel for saying that.
Oh, it's
like,
Uriel, you should know better.
Hey, he had a point, and I was just like, you know what? You're not kind of wrong, but I still had a good time.
Mikey, we're not supposed to promote the point that Uriel is smarter than we are, can actually look at this thing and see what's wrong with it, and can do our jobs better than we can. Okay?
Well, listen, if I could convince him to come on this podcast, I would, but he's not going to. Why? Because he's scared. Anyways.
Yeah, he's scared of Benny, we know.
Wow. But that's crazy. Throw that man under the bus. Anyways, so we are going to be talking about Dynamite's Title Tuesday and Collision's Homecoming. Everything came to us from Florida. So let's just jump straight into it. Yeah, it is Homecoming. I forgot my homecoming dress, you guys, so bear with me.
Let's
get into
it quickly. I have a relative in Jacksonville who said you could hear the fireworks all the way down the coast. Basically, this is going on because of the cloud cover, so it's very funny.
That is amazing. So we're gonna start with the Title Tuesday edition of Dynamite. So we got a lot to get through, so we're just not gonna waste time. So we're just gonna jump straight into this. But
look at these guys just longing for a rematch.
Now, I remember the way your mouth tasted last time.
Listen, I'd be here for this power couple.
Me too. Joe and his sturdy ass.
Spoiler alert: Joe is the power bot. No, just kidding.
Oh, no, I do not believe that.
No, we all know what the situation is. Joe is always on top. Anyways, which hey, not gonna complain. But yeah, let's be all the way 100. We knew what this was. We knew what this was. I was like, it's like every other face-to-face. We get a back and forth talk. We're building up to the match happening at Wrestle Dream between these two, which realistically has only been a 2-week feud. But hey, you know what? We're getting this match. And I was just like, cool. Sure.
Yeah, like
I don't know what to say to this. Like, it's
exactly. Exactly.
Well said.
Like, we run a podcast here where we talk about wrestling and like what we think about it. You can't say, because it makes sense as a match. It makes sense they have to take the time to build this now, even though there's some modicum of respect. It was an intense promo on both sides. Joe looking like a reject from a Willy Wonka film in that all blue suit he was wearing. Like, it didn't further it enough for me that it felt needed on Title Tuesday. Like, this couldn't have waited until the week after or something. Like, it just was an odd way to start the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I liked about this promo was that, like, you know, like Hangman's doing his usual like pacing around kind of shtick, and Joe's over here with Tony Schiavone having him hold the mic for him. That was pretty neat. It was just a different presentation, you know, than we usually see. But like, as you guys said, like, you know, it seems a little rushed. But like, with Joe, you don't really need that much of a push to get Joe riled up, and they're like, yeah, okay, he's credible. Let's do this.
I mean, yeah. So, again, this has been like less than a 2-week feud, and I was like, we're definitely telling the story out of order. But hey, you know what? We got to get through the 3-hour Dynamite Collision tomorrow night, and then we are all roads to St. Louis for Wrestle Dream. Choo choo. Anyways. Am I excited for this match?
We know it's got to be done. The match will be fine. It was just odd and weirdly aggro in not a fun way.
Yeah.
No, it was not. So, face to face, this Saturday, they're facing off for the title. Woo.
Oh, God.
Meanwhile, backstage, I just wanted to include this picture because I thought it was fun. This is literally setting up everything that is happening in Dynamite. Everybody here is about to have a gnarly time.
Mm.
And
this is
I love Roddy like not being in on the joke, or just he can't take it. Like, he's like, this is supposed to be serious, and everyone else is completely off their freaking rockers.
I was just like, listen, in this group you have to have a couple of screws loose, but everyone would have a definite time at some point in the evening, and unfortunately, the first victim is Tomohiro Ishii.
What title
Ishii
was on the line here for Title Tuesday?
Nothing. I was just like, Norbert, listen. Listen, I am a person who is not going to say no to a Moxley Ishii match. Like, right? I was just like, listen, love Ishii, Moxley, like New Japan stuff, fun, great, fantastic. Again, this is Title Tuesday. What? Like, to quote one of my favorite drag queens, instead of where are the jokes, it's like, where was the title? Did I like this match? Yes, I did. But I was just like, should have this been on Title Tuesday? Maybe a Collision, but not a Dynamite Title Tuesday. I don't know. This was weird.
There weren't enough women for Collision.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, there was a few matches on this Title Tuesday that could have been cut for another women's match, and This one was super fun. Actually, breaking the fourth wall here. Like as we were about to go live last week, like I was sitting here watching the show.
We heard.
We saw.
Yeah, yeah, like who am I telling that story to? But I digress. But like the reason was is because I didn't want to miss Ishii Moxley.
I'm right there with you. And also, Benny, I love that, like, even if this was the audio version of this podcast, you can hear the quotation marks in your voice when you say Title Tuesday. I love it to death. Very well put together. But yeah, this match was a well-worked, fun match. They each played their greatest hits. You know, Ishii having no neck and being able to withstand a bunch of stuff. Moxley bleeding while or almost bleeding basically by looking at him. And coming through in the end with, you know, a little brutality and a bit of New Japan to do it. It's a great match. I don't know if it was the energy match you needed right after Hangman Page basically busting a goiter into Joe's face before he left the ring. Like, I don't know if this is a good follower, but it definitely, like, it didn't feel like it was a title match for anything else either. If you're going to call it Title Tuesday, every title should be on the line. But, you know, it was serviceable. I'll take it.
Yeah, just real quickly before we move on, like the thing is, right? I was thinking about after watched the episode later on, um, and this match and the Orange Cassidy and Pac match really should have been flipped.
Yeah.
This one has a little bit more. It's a little bit more of a main event than Pac versus Orange Cassidy. You know.
Which normally wouldn't have been the case knowing the history between those two, but I see what you mean for it, definitely.
Yeah, so poor Ishii. Moxley picks up the win here. And I have to kind of agree. I feel like if we swapped what main evented and then this match, I feel like as like a booking and a pacing guide, as I tend to get really weird into that as we on this podcast, I think the energy would have felt a little bit more right, so to speak. But I still liked it. I will always take a Moxley Ishii match, but for Title Tuesday, I feel that there were some other things we could have done here. But hey, you know what? I had a fun time with this. So moving on. We are moving. Anyways. The Young Bucks are here to ask Tony Khan for another money match because they need to fuel their gambling addiction.
It's all right. I got rid of some of our sneakers. It's fine.
I'm just like, the way that we have gone through so many different things with the Young Bucks in like 3 months alone, in the last 3 months is wild.
It's the most character arc they've had in 4 years.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is amazing. So, I mean, the Bucks are going to be watching, Jungle Express's tag team match a little bit later in the night, while they're also trying to get Tony Khan to approve like a money match for them because they need to fuel their gambling addiction. I had fun with this, but this is going to set up what happens a little bit later. But for now, we go into our next bit, which was a street fight between the Hurt Syndicate and the Demand. And I was just like, okay, I'm here for this. This was fun. Ricochet, you have my salute. That gnarly going through that table, I was like, ooh. I was like, ooh. No. I was like, yes, amazing. Greatness.
He should not have survived that at all.
No, he should not. And so, spoiler alert, so Hurt Syndicate win this one. So now we're 1-1. And we're getting a trios match at Wrestle Dream, which we're going to talk about. But I'm just like, you go from a street fight to a regular trios match. I'm like, something's going to happen or be announced tomorrow. I'm just like, the plot does not make a lot of sense to go from a street fight to a regular trios match. So I'm just like, you got to up the ante. But then I'm like, what's more crazy than a street fight? Like, what are we going to, what's after that? Like, anyways.
Triple dog collar.
Oh my gosh. I can't. Listen.
The amount of just tie-ups and that knots in the dog collars would be ridiculous.
I know, right?
But is it a
would-
four corners match too, where they have to touch all four corners together like at
Oh
once?
no!
Not a 4 corner. Oh, those never. Listen,
Oh no,
within the
I
last.
got it, Mikey. Benny, I'm sorry, I didn't even think of it. It's a flag match.
No, not a flag. Listen, I don't need to revisit my trauma that was NXT's flag match like a month ago between All Ego, Ethan Page, and Tavion. That was such a stupid. I hate flag matches. They are such a stupid match. So is like anything on a pole match.
Yeah.
The 4 corners one can work. I wasn't sure like when we had Punk and Drew do it, but I'm like it can work. But flag matches need to be banned. They are stupid.
Ooh, even better. Blindfold match.
We're far enough into this. Fuck a blindfold match. That was so
come on,
bad.
Mikey. You don't want to see 6 competitors all with heads and bags?
I am going to say this
but
feud does not warrant it, but I'm like, just give me a lights out match then if we're gonna go for it. Like
this time just don't put on the lights. Like just
it's in the dark.
Completely dark.
Hey, you know what? That just like
by flashlight.
Flashlight tag match.
I'm not gonna lie, that actually would be kind of cool. You just give them an arena and you have to fight each other while also doing a flashlight tag.
Yep.
This screen AEW and Mario Party need to link up. Anyways, so I had fun with this back to the match itself. I mean, it's a street fight. Like it's gonna be disorganized chaos. People are gonna do things. I had a fun time with this though. Even though there were no titles on the line, I was just like, this to me felt like it belonged on Title Tuesday because it was a street fight. If you're not going to do a title, do a crazy stipulation.
Well, that's the thing. It's a palate cleanser. It's a stipulation. You can see how people are working together in different setups. Like Bishop Khan actually started to come into his own, helping out Ricochet quite a bit. This was fun to watch until about midway through when Shelton started killing everybody. And then it was like, oh, now we know which way this is going.
Yeah.
He went on a rampage. Like, I was like... I was like, oh, remind me never to not pay this man his lunch money back. Like,
there was like a moment where like Ricochet was like hiding underneath one of the tables, like right before the break. And he's like, Shelton like pulls him out from underneath. I'm like, this guy's such a great physical comedian. Like,
that moment reminded me of the Scary Movie. This is like. With the clown bit, it's like, I got something for you. No. So the Hurts, yeah.
Sorry. Totally like the way like he's let's be honest, he's really green still, right? In moments actually, but like the way he takes a turnbuckle. He usually like jumps up and like taps the almost jumps out of the ring every time, right? This time he actually does go up and over, and I was like, see, it worked that time. Fine. But man, all 6 of these guys got really great chemistry.
They definitely do, and you're right. Leono's only been wrestling since 2020. Like he is like 5 years in. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. It's wild for sure. And again, I'm just like, we're going from a street fight to a trios match at Wrestle Dream. I'm gonna wait until tomorrow because I feel like something's gonna get added. But who knows? I could be absolutely wrong.
Another team.
Oh no. But Hurt Syndicate win the street fight. This was fun. I agree. This was a palate cleanser. And we move on. We love to see tag team squashes. Anyways, so Jungle Express are in action for the first time since 2022. I'm like, didn't need to know that on the graphic, but you know,
it's been that long.
It's wild that it has been that long. I'm like,
forget how long the patriarchy has been going and like how long the scapegoat gimmick was going on for.
It was a lot. We've gone through a lot. We've gone through a lot. But Jurassic Express are in action. It is a glorified squash match against, local team. Love them. Happy to get TV time.
Oh my God, the meta glasses. God damn it.
Yeah, I didn't
think
even
that's a
pick up
part
on-
of it.
I didn't even pick up on that part until BTE, like on Monday.
Yeah. And then the shorts after that, I'm like, I hate that that's a thing in it. I hate that it's been done. I really don't like them promoting it. It drives me absolutely batty.
Mm.
So
This is my old man on the porch, like rocking and cursing clouds. Like, just I don't like it. Keep meta out of my ring, please.
Yeah.
The worst part is it was better. It was a better video feed than the freaking ref cam they were using for like a hot second in the other place. So like this.
we don't talk about those. Those were bad. we've purged it from our memory, but this is setting up a match between the Bucks and Jurassic Express, and Tony Khan apparently is letting the Bucks get their way because it's a money match at a pay-per-view. I'm like Tony Khan, like, can I get some of this dinero? Like, we just writing checks, like.
Well, and he's stolen all your ideas and my ideas and Jesse's ideas. There's been a lot of stuff that he's taken on here. I feel like we're owed some royalties here.
I was just like, just put us in the front, like put us so camera can catch us. Like that's all I needed. Then I'll be fine.
We'll all be shaking our asses with our BC WrestleBlood merch on. It'll be great.
Be like, coming soon to a wrestling venue near you, BC WrestlePod crop tops. Anywho, but
Like,
yeah, we'll talk. Go for it.
Keep stepping on you. That's my bad. But like,
Ow.
I was just all I wanted to say was like, there was like a digital short where like the Young Bucks had given or Matt had given Daniels like a pair of Nick's shoes to get the tickets. And, like,
That's amazing.
he was like, yeah, whatever. He sat on them, but like they were like what, like two random kids length away.
Yep.
I can't. But we'll talk more about these teams when we do our predictions for Wrestle Dream. But from here, we move on into our next bit, which was the Battle of the Kyles.
Part 2.
Part 2. So this
Kyle
is for
Square.
the Kyle Square TNT Championship match.
What,
The
a title was on the
Protostar.
line?
Did it feel like it? No, just kidding. No, this is the TNT Championship. This is the Protostar Kyle Fletcher taking on Cool Dad Kyle. I don't know anymore. Like Paragon. So Kyle Fletcher, the Protostar, Kyle O'Reilly. Again, I love the Kyles. They are great.
I love Kyle Fletcher getting so ticked off and yelling in the corner, "I'm the greatest Kyle! I'm the greatest Kyle!"
Shout out to AEW. Like, the crowd for AEW is always on point. Like, this year alone, we have gotten great moments, great cheers. Again, AEW has had some of my favorite fan interactions. Like, we literally watched Cope and Stokely break character in the middle of television.
Yep.
I'm just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as far as this match goes, I was like, I was entertained. I'm going to say this a lot. I was thrilled. I had a good time with this one. Did I ever think that Protostar was in any danger of losing to this title? No. Wrestle Dream, still don't think so, but a little bit more of a possibility, especially since they put the giant number 5 on the graphic. But that can mean anything, to be completely honest. I had a good time with this. Kyle O'Reilly, my mom's favorite wrestler with diabetes, as well as one of the Outrunners we found out also is diabetic too. It's crazy how many AEW wrestlers have the little sensor on, like my mom, so she feels seen. It's very nice. But yeah, I had a good time with this one. Kyle Fletcher does retain, but I thought both, put in work. By the way, I would like to give props to, not that I haven't, but Kyle Fletcher, what a crazy year he has had. It is one moment when he betrayed a Will Ospreay, which led into Revolution to, a little bit before that too. I was like, what a transformation. This is how you make a new star in any company, right? So I'm just like, give it another year or two. Kyle Fletcher is about to be holding that world championship, but I digress.
He better be.
Yeah, so I had a good time with this match. Boys, what did you think?
Benny, you want to go first?
Sure. what a fun match, right? Like I thought the Florida crowd was a little bit more lackluster than the Philly crowd. They still had their moments, but it's an amphitheater, so sound travels differently than in an arena. So like, but like, man, I love Kyle O'Reilly so much. Like, I really miss the over exaggerated sells that he used to do, but I understand why he doesn't do it anymore because he was landing on his head half the time. He was doing a flare flop, and and he just had neck surgery a little while ago. So I get it. This was brilliant as expected.
Well, we saw two masters of the technical arts, Kyle taking Kyle to the limit. It's almost like Kyle can't really outlast Kyle too long. And in general, Kyle is better than Kyle, which we found out. Take it for what it is. But in general, their styles match up pretty darn well. And the fact that they're both named the same thing just makes it that much sweeter. It's not the main gimmick in any one of these matches ever. It's the nice like sprinkling of flavoring on top that just makes it chef's kiss.
Mm. Did you guys see the poem that Kyle O'Reilly had put out online about this?
No.
It was something about like the seventh Kyle of a seventh Kyle.
I was just like, this is so stupid. But it was so good. I'm like, it's so stupid. It's so good.
So dumb, but it's so great.
I love when people are just like, whatever, right? So this was a fun match. Fletcher retains over O'Reilly. This was fun. I had a good time with this one. And I'm going to say that I was in a state of tranquilo when I was watching this. I'm going to put that out there. I was having a great time. A lot of wrestling. But we got to move on, though, because we still got a lot, which, begs the question backstage. Renee brings up, so Mark Briscoe has been asking for a title match, and y'all have been kind of dodging him. What you going to do about that? And Fletcher's like, bet. He's beaten me some. I beat me some. So let's put this to the test. And we are getting a match between Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe at Wrestle Dream for the TNT Championship. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher, for the most part, have like made each other in the past year. Like their first 4 matches, like Mark is sort of like settled into this like carpenter role, where like and he's fantastic. But like it's all 5 are completely different, but completely badass.
So we are getting Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher. And when we get to that, when we do our predictions for Wrestle Dream, I'm going to continue my conspiracy theory. I was just like, even on the pay-per-view placard, Mark Briscoe has a different expression. I'm like, what is happening?
They must have shot him like 25 different ways for every mood swing he has for whatever. He's like, y'all dogs, I want to be able to be, showing off every emotion available. Like, I just want to make sure we're shot right.
I'm telling you, and Tony Khan, at least give me like in the description of this merch, you need to have like the many faces of Mark Briscoe shirt, like for real.
If like that, you could have that. You could have him reacting to live things like MST3K style on some of the shorts, like he just pops up like or something like that, or you have it like you like set up like in like the next video game where it's just the Mark Briscoe meter. You have to get him to a certain point before he gets to do something.
Seriously, it would be amazing. But we're going to talk more about that during Wrestle Dream predictions. Mercedes Moné is
the only woman on the show.
So mad. Anyways,
there's two women in
this match.
In this
yes.
Yeah. The keyword being in this match.
Benny. Oh God, I love you, Benny.
Mercedes Moné has a TBS Championship Open Challenge. She threw down the gauntlet last week. And you know what? I'm going to talk about Mercedes. She's going to be a busy woman this weekend. But Mercedes has the Open Challenge, and it is answered by a one Miss Lacey Lane, formerly known as Kaden Carter of the Fed, who is also, unofficially Mrs. Damian Priest as well. Love them both. I'm so happy to see Lacey. I love her so much.
The only thing that I thought about this, other than how fun it was to watch her work, and the fact that I know that Casey Catanzaro's got to be like around the corner coming with her because they got the tag team stuff going on,
For real.
is that Lacey Lane sounds too close to JC Jane, and it's just confusing.
I mean, that's very, very fair. But I'll take Lacey any day because she's better. Anywho. But no, you're absolutely right. Casey Catanzaro has to be around the corner. You literally just announced these women tag titles, and I don't want to go on a forever tangent, but I was just like, why your actual women's tag team was let go is beyond me. But that's a whole nother conversation.
That makes too much sense, right?
Yeah, you want to have two random singles wrestlers thrown together to make a Franken tag because that's what works in this business now.
I was just like, again, we could be here all night to go through my thesis statement of how Sasha and Naomi, Casey and Kaden, the Iconics, like, just say you hate women's tag team without saying you hate women's tag team. But anyways, Lacey,
Casey
I love you.
Lacey Lane, Casey and Lacey just be the new the female Outrunners.
Oh my God, I need that. I need them and Dalton Castle and the Outrunners to actually be a faction and call it
Goils.
They're the trios champs. They're the women's tag champs. You can never go wrong. Harley Cameron finds a way to insert herself into that faction, and Harley's just best friends with everybody. Like,
can
literally
Harley win the tag titles with Minnie Monet?
Oh my God, let's go. Anyways, Lacey put up a hell of a fight, but of course, Mercedes Monet does retain her TBS championship, and I'm just like, yeah, that tracks. Mercedes is going to be a busy girl this weekend because unless she has a match at Wrestle Dream the night before, she's going to Arena Mexico, so we get to, the CMLL boys will get to watch and cover that, especially this episode because it's an all-women show this Friday. We're excited. Anyways.
What's that?
All-women show? I know. Anyways.
Yeah, what's an all-women show? It sounds like the best thing you could possibly do.
Right? It's fantastic. There's a lot of good matches.
And
I'm excited because the Women's Grand Prix is in 2 weeks, which makes me uber more excited. But anywho, Lacey put up a hell of a fight, but Mercedes was able to retain her championship. And at this point, Mercedes is now 10 belt Monet, which I think, if I remember correctly, isn't she like one away from breaking,
from tying
or tying or breaking the record?
She definitely did with the 10th one, but 8 of the Ultimo Dragon titles were technically one titles, but that's not it gets all murky when you getting into the backs.
That's true. You look at CMLL, which has 2 sets of championships, the CMLL and the Mexican national titles, and there's like 20 plus of those titles, and it's crazy out here.
I mean,
but it's nice to see
facts in a completely like set up sport where, yes, the bumps are real, but the endings are known. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Just facts.
Anyways, Lacey, it was nice to see you. Hopefully, Casey is right around the corner, so we can get you all involved.
Casey, the Lacey and Casey connection.
For real.
Yeah. I just want to say something about that one real quick. Is that
yes,
I didn't really know who Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans.
Yeah, it's
I was like, Evans, no, we do not invoke her name.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Think JC Jane and just say it with L's.
I'll say it another time, but I really have never seen her work that much because I don't watch the Fed. But
like a good person.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I have taste.
I have morals.
Both of y'all.
But I was really, really impressed with her moveset, and she's really interesting wrestler.
Benny, just wait till Casey Catanzaro gets there. It gets even better.
The
Warrior girl, right? Yeah.
The party gals.
The party gal. I hated that gimmick for them, but honestly, they are like a really good tag team. So, and they utilize their strengths very well, especially because, Casey, former, Ninja Warrior, she can do all sorts of things. And Lacey has picked up a lot as well from her time wrestling, as well as working with her partner, boyfriend. Like, I don't know the labels, but Damien is always training with her too. So I've always wanted Damien and her versus Alistair and Zelina, but that's a whole nother conversation.
No, you want Damien and her to go up against Rhea and Buddy.
That would be amazing. I was like, what in the Spanish soap opera is this? First of all,
I love every bit of this.
I was like, this is Mortos and wearing these sunglasses is the bit I did not know I wanted. What is this? Just this is stupid, but this is my kind of stupid. Also, if this means that we get more Sammy Guevara on my AEW television, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to lie, you guys. But yeah, I'm just like, oh, Eddie Kingston, I've missed you, and you're like, no, like just say whatever comes out of your mouth. I'm just like,
yeah, I love what like Eddie's just like Mortos, tell Sammy to shut up and just get your ass beat for it.
I was just like, this is the setup Mortos. This is the further setup Mortos and Kingston at Collision at Homecoming. So I was just like, this was dumb, but this is my kind of dumb. This is why I watch wrestling. I was like, give me the stupid Spanish soap opera.
Everything going through my head was, and Hook is there.
Yeah. I was just,
yep.
He feels so out of place.
He really does. I'm just like, I don't know if I would have actually liked it, but I preferred my theory of him being another person that defects to the Death Riders. But I don't know. He's already wearing a hoodie. He would have fit in perfectly. Like,
there you go.
Anywho,
the only time he's ever a good babyface is if Danhausen's around to actually make him look cool.
I'm still mad that we never got more of Hookhausen. I was so disappointed. But you know what? Sometimes life gives you lemonade, and then it shoots that lemonade in your eyeballs. So you got to deal with it.
It's sticky and sweet.
Anyways, we'll talk more about Mortos and Eddie Kingston during Collision, because right now we got to talk about this match. So,
what was
Double
this?
Jeopardy.
What was
You're
this?
like, what is this?
Oh man, I never thought that I could see a bad Bandito and Okada match, but I was like, what is this exactly? Like,
okay, so first of all,
this times where I was like, why? Just I had to stop and like come back out and go, right, they're trying to tell a story. Are they dyslexic? I can't tell.
I was just like, wrestling can be dyslexic sometimes, everyone. But this was our Double Jeopardy Eliminator match. Even the concept was really wild, because if Brodito won the match, whoever got the pin would be the one to face Okada. But if Okada and Takeshita win, they would get a shot at the tag team championships. And I'm going to be so for real. When that stipulation was being said, I was like, oh, I already know how this is going to go down. And I was absolutely right. But, yeah, this was the thing that happened, is the nicest way to put it.
Even knowing where they were going with it, they went the clunkiest way ever. Like, it just, they
this
never
was not
went
a great
into
night
why
for,
this is going to work.
This is not a great night for anybody in this match. I'm going to be so for real. This was not a great night for anyone in this match.
Yeah, the problem was is that, like, at least I think, is that, like, you know, they're trying to tell two different stories on either end of the match, and then it just got really convoluted. Yeah, like, it just got really convoluted. like, what is happening? Why is Bandito even here if he has a broken shoulder? I'm
just like, continuity is weird in wrestling. This was
what continuity?
Well, here's the thing. So it's continuity for me, because people were asking, when did Bandito hurt his arm? I was just like, well, to give y'all the missing information, he kind of, quote unquote, hurt himself when he was facing Echiseto at CMLL last week. They had an ROH championship match. It was a bop. It's Arena Mexico, so anytime we get an injury spot, it plays out for like 18,000 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But I was just like, so that was the information, but still, that is no excuse for explaining how clunky this match was. And I was disappointed. I was just like, this was not a great night for any of you four. I still love y'all, but I was just like, this was not a great night for y'all. But hey, you know what? It happens sometimes, so I give it a little bit of grace. But this was clunky. And again, I agree with you, Benny. It's like we're telling two different stories on two opposite spectrums of AEW storytelling, and I'm just like, y'all are trying to make gumbo jambalaya, and it's not mixing very well. Like, what is happening?
On top of the weird, like, polite back and forth bad things between Okada and Takeshita too, like there was no heat with them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's the thing is that unless they start like really amping stuff up, like they did a little bit of like a backstage thing where like it was Dawn's birthday, and Kesha like sent in a video and like Okada shut it off and was like, "Oops, just pressed the wrong button," which is a nice callback. But I really did like the only thing that really worked for me in this entire thing was like at the end when Takeshita like pushed Okada and Okada just nose sells him and walks back up the ramp.
Yeah,
and like that's cool. I like that, but like it just played into that a little bit more.
It's just, I was just like, boys, I know y'all can do better than this. This was not a great night for either one of you. Bandito's expression is me after this match. You can't see his face, but Bandito's body language is me after this match.
oh my god!
I was just,
yeah.
Even Renee's like, bro, what was that? Like Renee's like, guys, what happened?
Neither of them can figure. Oh, they're all sitting there going, "Tony made us do it. We don't know why."
The other thing is that who the reason that we love this team is because they're badasses, not because we want them to be sympathetic baby faces. What the hell is this?
Badass baby faces. Like, we don't need all the baby faces to be sympathetic. Just let them kick ass. That's all we ask for, you guys. Come on. Anywho,
you're overcomplicating it.
It's crazy out here, but again, Bandito's expression is me after this match. I was like, we'll try again. We'll get him next time, boys. We'll get him next time. I love Brodito. I really, really do. But this
why we treat the Brodito bad? Come on.
Why we treat the Brodito bad? I don't want to look at this picture anymore because it makes me cry. What in the Mighty Mouse is this picture, Pac? Like, what is happening? Like, what in the Mighty Mouse is this? Main event time, Pac versus Orange Cassidy. I have a couple of thoughts really quick before I throw it over to you boys to talk about this match. Number one, I'm still happy to see Orange Cassidy back on my screen. Love you. Number two, Pac, I love you, but I was just like, I'm still trying to get adjusted to how we look now. But also, when I look at that body, I'd be like, damn, it'd be banging. Anyways, I was like, you got yoked, sir. Holy hell.
Well, he's had nothing to do for so long.
Yeah. That is very, but still, I was like, damn, son, where'd you get those? I was like, holy hell, sir. I like this match. I really did. However, because of how we ended this and what happened afterwards, I'm like, I still hold to the fact of what both of you brought up at the beginning. We could have switched this match with Moxley and Ishii and still had everything play out the way it did after matches, and it would have flowed a little bit better. But Pac versus Orange Cassidy, I had a fun time with this. I'm happy to see Pac back here. But Orange winning through shenanigans is like, I guess, but like, okay. Sure. I don't know, man. Sorry,
I just dropped in chat what I think that look from Pac looks like to me.
Oh, Lord, I'm about to open this
so bad.
right. Oh, no. Why would you do
that? Mike, you got to throw that up on screen. It works too well.
Oh, God. All right. If I can save it and my computer doesn't crash out on me, I'm going to. Hang on. Anyways, while I do that, JBL, since you brought up the picture to burn into my retinas, why don't you go first and talk about this main event?
Well, it's because Pac is beautiful. He's beautiful. It's no. These two, like I know both have had time off and both have had lost a bit of step or have a bit of rust, but I just feel like Pac wasn't leaning into the comedy as much as he did before. Because that's what makes the magic between the two is Pac being super serious and Cassidy getting away with murder. And I just feel like they didn't let that breathe enough. And so it was still really good. They're freaking amazing, but it just wasn't as, I don't know, gripping as the last time, if I can say that. Benny, I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yeah. No, to be honest with you, I really enjoyed this one. Simply because it was a little bit different from their other ones.
Okay.
And because they start off with chain wrestling, like
yeah,
Orange Cassidy doing chain wrestling with Pac, and then like they like just as I realized it, like they picked up the pace and started like high flying, and then like that ending, like I love that ending.
Yep, there it is.
I hate you, JBL, but I love you at the same time.
Oh my
now
god!
You can't unsee it.
You know, somebody had said something the other day, and I can't unsee it. Is that Pac looks like Julius Caesar? Like,
oh my gosh, that is not what Rome is about. We should all stab Caesar.
We have no king.
I didn't realize we're watching a fruit salad in this match. I think they killed Benny.
Oh man!
Really, guys, in front of my salad.
But like
Benny,
I think you were saying with the gear, like I love that. Like he finally finds pants, and then like he used to have like super hairy legs if you were paying attention, because I was, and now he's got chest hair. It's super funny.
It's like a weird palette swap for like the one like downtrodden costume you have in one of these matches. But I agree with you on the thing of like chain wrestling and then they kicked up the notch. There was no room for slowness in this, which is what actually works between the two of them, because Cassidy slows Pac down by being Cassidy, and he didn't do that the whole way through. So I felt like it was missing something.
Yeah, I can see it. That's a very good point. A very good point.
Thank you. I make a few of those.
I have a few myself, but it's not about me.
Benny, you usually do. That's what I'm saying. It's very rare when I make a salient point at all.
Oh my goodness, I love you both. But Cassidy wins because, you know, things go down like
I saw Pac grabbing his face. I'm like, please don't make him injured again.
I was like, don't do it. Please don't do it. Darbs is out here. Cassidy wins. Molotov cocktail, security fighting all the way outside. I was just like, I smell this main eventing. Anyways,
was this pre or post the Halwani interview too? Like he threw some bombs in that this week.
That I think this was pre, but even still, I was just like, Darbs is just unfiltered. I'm like, whoa, Darby.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Sam, the security guard.
For reals. Holy hell, this is crazy, bro. But with security having to pull apart Mox and Death Riders and Darbs is crazy. And that's how Title Tuesday goes off the air for us. So
you know what that was really funny though? Like when like Pac is like after he gets free of the handcuffs, like he's like walking down the stairs or whatever, and he must have like realized that like they were only at 6, so he starts to like slowly climb over the barricade.
It's like, oops. So that is how that is how Title Tuesday goes off the air. So let's get into Homecoming. So we're going to talk about Collision. So this one hurt. It's like I don't want to talk about it. I was like, but we must, because I'm
you
like,
have to. Oh my god.
I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot. But we open up with Kota Ibushi versus Josh Alexander. So all of Homecoming is a pre-tape because they filmed it earlier in the week. And they still showed this match, but thankfully it wasn't, in full. So and honestly, it's bittersweet, right? Because especially learning today, Kota is going to be out for a year or two. I'm like, no.
He does this the last couple times he's come back. He wrestles for a month and then gets some like almost career-ending injury that he's going to be out with for like 12 months, and then he comes back again and continues to try to wrestle the same style in his 40s. Like, dude,
yeah,
please,
he does a sort of a
slow it down.
Yeah, well,
I think there's some CTE going on there that just definitely has him going nuts.
Yeah.
But we don't get too far into this match before Kota goes off of the ring post, and then he is down. Shout out to our referee for realizing it and just doing the count and everything. So it's just like, yes. Josh wins by count out. Obviously, that wasn't the plan, so we kind of had to improvise. And I felt so bad for everybody who was involved in what happens afterwards, though, because I'm sure this was not how it was originally supposed to go. But we got Dumpy Daddy himself, Mark Davis, coming back, which I was just like, my baby daddy is back, you guys. I'm so happy to see.
And working with Kyle Fletcher's like group of people, apparently.
Well, I mean, he was part of the Don Callis family before he got injured, like 3 weeks into it, if I remember correctly. So, because Mark Davis has been
bad luck.
Yeah,
it's just like poor Ibushi. I mean, Kenny comes out with the trash can. Everybody is crazy. Is getting crazy. I was just like, poor Ibushi. And I know I felt bad for everybody involved in here because they had to make this post angle work despite the injury. Ibushi gets, carted off in a stretcher and everything. And again, he is going to be out. He has a broken femur. I'm like, how the fuck does that happen? I was like, what the hell? I was just like, oh, he fractured something. No, this bitch broke a whole entire femur. And I was just like,
and that's one of the thickest bones in your body too. Like that's not.
I'm like, how the fuck does that happen? I was like, do you know the amount of force that has to be on that? But then again, this is not the first like big old injury he's had in the leg. So I was just like, I need somebody to do a medical study on this man. Like, what is happening with the Kota Ibushi right now? It just bums me out so much because Kota is so much fun. And again, I got very lucky that I got to see him and Okada have the match they had at Dynamite 300 back during the summer. And
in one of his 3-match in-betweeners that he could actually do before he goes on injury reserve again.
For reals. And I'm just like, poor Ibushi. Kenny Omega comes out for, his boyfriend / tag team partner. So it's like, I'm happy Mark Davis is back. Man, this is very unfortunate because had he not gotten hurt, I was like, I would have loved to see the rest of Josh and Ibushi go at it because I feel like that match would have been amazing.
I also feel like Josh wasn't supposed to win.
No, I don't. I think Ibushi was supposed to win because with Mark Davis coming back, they were going to ambush him, and then Kenny comes out and everything. So,
right, but you could see on Josh's face, he's like, "Oh God, not like this."
It was tough.
You can see like everybody involved sort of break character for a second, like as they're checking on Kota. Like
as
even
stomping on him, they're like, "Hey, are you okay? Stop! Are you okay? Stop!"
Even Don Callis was just like, "How are we gonna get out of this?
We're gonna figure it out somehow."
I somehow have half the roster in my group. I can't have them fight all each other again right now.
For real,
Kenny.
When in doubt, bring Kenny out. Anyways, so we're gonna talk about Kenneth a little bit later because Kenneth is having some trust issues with a certain scapegoat or Jungle Boy. So shocker, right? But send in love to Kota Ibushi. Hopefully your healing journey is a lot shorter than a year to 2 years, but take care of yourself. And when you come back, please don't go crazy. Please. We're asking you. We want you still here.
Work a different style if you can, please. We need you in our lives.
I was just like, I'm happy that my baby daddy is back, but at the same time, this sucks for everyone involved. They did the best they could, sending love and healing wishes to Kota Ibushi. But we got to keep going with the show though. So we move on from this to this. I'm just like,
the never-ending vortex.
Listen, Jericho's not here, so Big Bill and Brian Keith now have the ever-loving vortex of tag teams that they're going to fight, including Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. Dare I say, though, I kind of like this feud between Max and Anthony where they're just trying to one-up each other all the time.
That's hysterical.
It's hysterical. But, I mean, that is what this match essentially was. It's a vehicle to extend whatever issues Max and Bowens have with each other.
Right, but can I ask the thing, like, why wouldn't it be more fun, even if it was just jobber tag teams, where they continue to do that with different teams every week to showcase how bad it's gotten? So when they come back around to Large William and, the Bad Apple Keith Bryan, you need to be able to have them be there once we built them up a bit more, not have them continuously wrestle them every week.
Hey,
well, I mean...
that's sort of a Tony Khan thing, where it's just sort of like, oh, this match was good. Let's do it 85 more times.
Which I was just like, fine. And again, Big Bill and Brian Keith are out here they are literally have contracts with AEW, and I feel like they're jobbing out to all the tag teams. Speaking of which, I mean, because these two things go hand in hand. Bowens and Caster beat Big Bill and Large William, and we're going to take them from that match to another tag team match where now all of a sudden they got beef with the Bang Bang Gang, which includes their newest member, Ace Austin. So essentially this is setting up Ace Austin's next match against somebody in that group. And I'm just like,
Yeah, this was very uninspired and sort of rough.
Wow, Benny, way to put it completely succinctly and to the point.
Cut the bullshit,
No, that's exactly how it felt with this segment. I was just like, what are we doing? Why? I was just like, if it's not Large William and the Brian Keith, the Bang Bang Gang is also kind of in this weird vortex of we're just gonna throw them out there. But I mean, whatever.
It felt
I was like, I get to see Ace Austin on my TV soon, so we're fine, I guess. I don't know, but I want more for this. It's kind of not inspiring, like Betty said.
This feels like my career mode. Any tag team could have been inserted here against the Bang Bang Gang. It's the same dialogue. It's the same everything else. This time we decided to choose Large William and Little Apple, New York City, Brian Keith.
This is crazy that this is what they're doing in AEW because I'm more excited for Brian Keith's title defense at Defy next week than I am for AEW, with him on AEW right now.
Yeah, that's literally what I was just about to say was that, like, and that's what sucks about this is that, like, all these guys are great. Like, Brian Keith, like, literally was just a independent standout that got a match with a Hangman Page, and they were like, oh my God, who's this guy? Yeah.
And then Jericho happened.
He's fantastic. Yeah, exactly. As usual.
Like anything that enters the black hole of the Chris Jericho vortex.
Yeah, maybe it sucks. He could just sail back off into the ocean with all of his WrestleCon buddies back to WWE.
Seriously, I'm just like, just leave. I was just like, yeah.
You'll meet them in Saudi.
You need to leave. Again, it's the crazy part. I get to see Ace Austin more on AEW television. I love Ace Austin. I think he's great. But this is not what I want for him, the Bang Bang Gang, or Large William and Brian Keith for that matter. So I love you, AEW, but sometimes we just gotta call it what it is. And it's just like, no, don't. This is not
lazy booking.
Exactly.
Sorry, I was channeling my inner Benny there. I just had to say it out loud.
But speaking of something that, well, actually, talking about something that should not be stopped is more TJ. I love TJ. So they are in action. And again, I'm just like, you know what? There's a whole lot of women's tag team options there, and I can make a case for any of them. I'm just saying though, if we want to make the inaugural ones, looking at all the possibilities, I would love to see TJ win those titles because they are literally the most like longest tag team here in AEW compared to all the other women tag teams we have right now. They've been here since day one for the most part. Like,
well, also they got a new flavor in this match, even though it was a squash. Ty Mello working a little heel there through some of the stuff.
yes, I was like, ooh, spicy. I'm here for it.
Yeah, and I like that new finish. That new finish.
Yes.
Gory special.
They use the gory setup well, unlike someone else that holds a championship or 10 in this company.
Ooh. With that ooh and I ooh.
Fired.
I am well versed and been out there on my hate for Mercedes' finisher. She has had such better finishers over her entire career, and that one just seems so damn convoluted.
I understand that she wanted to get away from the bank statement or whatever into the whatever
The money, the Monet maker or whatever.
Yeah, like the backstabber into her submission, whatever, you know. But like, you could have figured something out. Like you're training with Amazing Red, and that's the best thing you came up with.
It's free on. Also, like Amazing Red knows the whole thing is set up. Is when you come up with the finisher, the best ones you can do are ones you can do to anybody, and that can be countered in multiple different ways. And hers can be countered maybe in 2 different ways, and takes 4 freaking ever to set up. And God help her if her opponent is much bigger than her.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, how do you have Amazing Red train you? By the way, sidebar. It's free on YouTube. Y'all should go see Amazing Red versus Leon Slater's match from House of Glory Wrestling this past weekend. It was amazing. It's free on YouTube.
Was really great.
It's crazy.
But TJ looking strong. You know, needed a couple more times with their tag team maneuvers. But honestly, yeah, put the belts on them right now.
Let's crown our women's champs at World's End. That'd be a great way. Would love to see it. I mean, you got the Continental, so like, if we're not going to get a women's Continental Classic anytime soon, let's crown the tag champs at World's End, so we can start the year off right with some women's tag team action and for championships, which would be
great.
Do it,
you cowards.
Do it. I was like, what in the Jake the Snake Roberts promo was this?
Why does Daniel Garcia look like he's on like some weird field trip from high school for Scared Straight, and he somehow ended up on the convict side of the line?
I was like, I can't with this promo. I was like, I can't take any of y'all seriously. I'm here for it, but I cannot.
All I want to know is how many takes this took.
For real.
Oh my God.
Look at him halfway through.
Look at Yuta in the background is killing me.
It's like every time anybody started speaking, one of them, if you look at them, would just start laughing.
Yeah. And well, you can tell it was a lot of takes too, because depending on like if Marina's in shot or like in like soft focus, wherever her necklaces ended up, because she's turned or talked to somebody and it's not the same, you definitely see the pivot points.
Definitely. And like I actually took you guys' advice and like went back and watched that Defy match with Hyon.
Yeah.
And that promo she cut afterwards. Yes, bring that to TV. Please.
Well, I'm excited for Defy Wraith because she's defending the championship against somebody else I love in this industry, in Su Young. So I was like, the girls are going to be fighting. And then I'm also looking forward to Jon Moxley versus, the Sky High Samurai, Royce Isaac. That's going to be a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
And
but at least in AEW world, we have unhinged Jon Moxley promo with everyone else where it's just strange.
This is the timeline that we're living in, and it might be questionable at best, but I'm here for it all because I love these guys. But we gotta move on though, because we still.
I was so happy for this match.
Yes, I was just like, this is what I want. This was great. We get Chris. Go for it.
All I was gonna say was that like just like the Okada and Brodito match, like there was a lot going on here, but like it was way better executed.
For real.
Yup. Wait. Let's back this up. I want to call out the no BS on this, Benny. Are you saying that the women can perform in shitty creative better than the men? And that they can make things work so much better and are worth more of our time and energy to watch than most of the men on this roster?
Yeah, they've been handed they've been making chicken shit out of chicken salad out of chicken shit for a while.
The fact that this was in the middle of the card, and this is probably one of the two of my favorite matches this whole entire night, was just like, shout out to all 6 of these women. I have no notes really because I was just watching this match and I wasn't taking notes because I was enjoying myself. Triangle Madness does win, which sets up something we're going to talk about later with Chris and Tony, which also I got another funny picture of Yuta when we get there because it.
Can I also go? I'm loving this new, like, I don't know what era Tony is in at this point, other than like it's Final Fight Hagar. Like at that point, you know, the giant guy with the overalls and the mustache. Like,
yes, I'm just like, let her just start cosplaying as like fighting video game characters now. It's just great. I'm telling you, if she walks out into a Cammy cosplay, I would lose my absolute mind, but in the best way possible. I was like, listen. For all you he, she, theys, and gays out there, we know that Cammy is one of the few video game characters that touches everybody's sexuality. I was like, love her. So does Judy, especially if you like people stepping on you, but that's for a whole different podcast.
Oh, man. Moving on, though. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So this was a great match, and I was just like, Triangle of Madness win. And you know what? It furthers what we're getting at. Wrestle Dream between, you know, Stat Daddy herself and the timeless Tony Storm. So, Harley Cameron, you are also a joy to watch. I love you. Everybody was great in this. Moving on.
This is the screenshot. This is the screenshot.
Yes. This is the meme. You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. This, I was like, what in the Godfather is this? I was like, what is happening right now?
Oh, see, I was thinking this is more like is this a butterfly? Is this a betrayer?
So Jack comes in and he's like, Kenny, I want you to know I have your back. And Kenny Omega's like, bullshit, you do. But you know what? I'll believe you. Show up on Wednesday and have my back. And that is literally what we got from this segment.
Oh, man.
To be honest with you, like this, the placement of this was sort of bad because like it was like right
it really was.
Break.
Sort of?
What's that?
I said sort of? Really? Sort of bad? It was atrocious, man.
Yeah.
It was a travesty. It was a hate crime. I was just like, So, again, Kenny wants Jack to come on Dynamite and have his back, you know, tomorrow evening. And I'm like, we shall see how everything plays out because I'm like, they still be beefing, but who knows for how long.
Well, and Jack's got backup now. He's got Luchasaurus back.
That's true. Again, this is what I was referring to. I cannot take Wheeler Yuta seriously in these pictures. Like, what is happening? I can't.
They know what they're doing.
So, again, Chris tells Harley that she can't team with her as long as she's the, you know, main women's champion, which was like, nah, all right. So Harley and Minnie Monet it is.
I think they should win the titles. I know it's like terrible, but it's comedy wrestling. Like, please just have them and have them defend it.
Like, just have them go for like a month run. It would be great.
Oh no, no. I've got it blocked out in my head. They win it, the two of them. Harley keeps getting beat up in like tag team qualifier matches to like set up new championship matches and everything else, to the point where Minnie Monet gets so run down as a puppet, she's fraying everything else. Harley's worried about her health. She doesn't know if she can make it, and then finally she comes out for a big title defense at one of the pay-per-views, and Minnie Monet is not with her, and she's like, "Oh, I have some bad news." Minnie Mercedes, and as she says Mercedes Monet comes out to tag with her to actually defend the titles.
That would be amazing. Again, I'm here for the odd couple pairing
Tony,
of tag teams.
Pay me for my booking stuff, Tony, for Christ's sake. I'm willing to relocate.
What I'd like to see is, to be honest with you, as great as yours was, I'd like to see the piggyback off your idea, like, she goes through like partner after partner, and then all of a sudden we get a returning beast, right? Imagine Nyla Rose and Harley Cameron. Imagine the amazing back and forth those two would have on screen.
Listen, I need Nyla Rose's like Twitter game back on her promo on television, because I'm like, Nyla has some of the best lines, comebacks, promo skills ever when she's just allowed to like go. Again, she still lives rent free in my head. It's like, do the wiener roll. Like,
my God. But also seriously, those two, you add the Beast Mortos, you have Beast Mode as a faction.
Yes. That would be so amazing.
Yes, please.
But seriously. So again, this is this furthers Chris and Tony at Wrestle Dream. Wheeler Yuta out here just living his best meme life. We love to see it.
Oh my God.
But we got to keep going. LFI Squash MXM collection.
This was
and Mortos is still wearing the sunglasses.
This was the best reveal when you had MXM going, "Who are we beating tonight? Tell me."
And then out comes LFI. You're like, ah, shit. In the words of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, ah, shit, here we go again. But what I loved about this is that they didn't even get to celebrate that long, because Eddie Kingston's like, fuck your celebration, let's fight these Mortos, and go straight into the next match. Literally, they don't get to celebrate for long because Eddie Kingston's like, nah, fuck your celebration, let's fight.
Well, Beast Mortos has a full docket today. As there's an attorney at law, he had to take on his next case, and that was the case of Eddie Kingston and his face.
I was just like, what is happening? But anyways, speaking of which, if you are ever in need of attorney, hire Frank Mortos, attorney at law. Roar, grumble, roar. Frank Mortos, attorney at RAR.
Benny's just dead.
Oh man, it's so silly.
I would like to thank Adolfo for that one. When we all learned that Frank,
t-shirt.
For real, when we learned that Beast Mortos is an actual lawyer in real life who is also a professional wrestler, like, he made that one up quick. So shout out to Adolfo. This is, again, I was just like, I got my Eddie Kingston chops. I win at life. That's all that matters.
Mortos took him like a pro.
So good.
Yeah, this is probably Eddie's best match since returning. But it's Mortos, so that's obvious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Eddie Kingston wins by the end of this, and Hook is here. I was just like,
and Hook was there.
And Hook was there. So,
yeah.
There's nothing more I could say. This was one of those matches that was like, we're setting something up between LFI and Eddie. So I'm like, cool, I'm here for it.
So I do have to ask this. So instead of what it used to be, which is somebody call Hook until he's getting to be there, it's like, is it now who called Hook?
For reals. Be like, she doesn't even go here. Like, that is, I love Hook to death, but I was just like, that is the vibes that he is giving me in all of this, right? So I was just like, Hook, I love you dearly. I really, really do. But my brother, like,
go here.
Like, you know what the thing is with Hook, right? It's like,
no,
he hasn't his character has not developed since he was just standing next to Taz.
For real.
He
The
took the hood
most
off.
character development we saw was when he was with Hookhausen and they were arguing what chip was better. Like those are the days I miss. Like I was just like, what are we doing? But
Oh my god.
Then
I'm
there was
like-
Jungle Hook. Remember that?
Jungle
No,
Hook was actually
no.
kind of fire too. But again, so many potential ideas. But
They
we
put out
just
the
dropped
pride shirt with the two twinks on it, and everybody's like, "What the hell is happening right now?"
Man, good times. Good times. We got to keep it going though. Shibata text messaging promos. I have missed the Google Translate promos.
I have missed this so much. Oh my god.
Shibata literally is just like, hey, do you want to fight next week for the Trios Champions? Ball, let's go. So the Ops are going to be going up against LFI for the Trios Championships. And I'm like, this is going to go one of two ways. A, you're going to give the Trios Championships to LFI. Or B, Eddie Kingston just gets involved, costs LFI something, and then they continue to fight. So I'm here for it either way.
No, you've got one more. You missed one.
Oh,
Hook gets involved and costs the Ops.
Ooh, that is also true because he's got weird emotional beef still with the Ops after that weird promo, like that weird backstage interaction from like a month ago.
I've missed throwing up in the ring.
That is true, but I have missed the Google Translate promos from Shibata Bread here.
Yeah, you know what's sort of funny is that like on Title Tuesday, Shibata comes out with Joe and Hobbs, and I was like, he was written off like by Danny Garcia, like 2
like
weeks
why
ago.
is he here?
And then it was just like, here's Shibata. Like, what?
Be like, continuity doesn't exist.
What are the rules?
There are none.
I remember 2 weeks ago, right?
I was just like, be like, let's call the whole thing off. Is exactly how I felt about this.
I wonder a little bit in the last couple of weeks if Tony has gotten his writing team from Bogota back in, where he has been going a little harder on some stuff and has been writing some of the stuff. I don't know.
Oh, I was gonna make a football joke, but I couldn't find it. Anyway,
Oh, make it. Go make it.
It's that season.
It truly be that way. So we're getting a trios championship match tomorrow night, so that's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. Can I just say this? I'm like, I'm not saying that AEW needs more championships, right? But I'm telling you, not even a championship, but like if we have the Owen Hart, right? We have the Continental Classic. Can we get an intergender tournament? And again, you can offer number one contendership to the winning team of said tournament, because I'm not going to lie, I kind of want to see Willow and Dax fight more. And also, Megan can fight any of these boys. Let's not front either. Like
Megan going after Speedball was the funniest thing I'd seen in forever.
We're far enough in. I fucking died. This was such a fun main event, and I'm like, yes, please, give me more. I want more.
Hey, Title Tuesday, this is how you book a main event.
For reals. I had such a fucking blast with this match, man. Like, listen, if this is just a taste of intergender, give me an intergender tournament on AEW. Come on now. And you know what?
Let's call it what it is. It's a heterosexual tournament.
That is also very true. But
Yeah.
I will say this. I would like to see this more often for Megan, because again, Megan coming from GCW, where they do intergender wrestling all the time. Megan has fought guys, gals, non-binary pals, and everyone in between. Like Megan has a repertoire of fighting, everybody with a pulse, which is great, which includes people and animals.
Mostly fighting her husband over
in
there.
person.
Oh yeah, totally, Benny.
Listen, if you want to see Megan Bain handle an intergender match, it was earlier this year in January. Watch her match against Atticus Cogar at GCW, the People versus GCW from Hammerstein, because that match was nuts and she did great. Also, Willow is my MVP because she was fighting bitches and bros and non-binary hoes, and it was great.
If you want to go back watch any match from Collision last week, go watch this one.
For reals.
Yeah, like
this is great.
I usually I hate the mixed tag rules or whatever. Where it's just like you tagged in a woman, so so the other woman has to come in.
Just let them fight. Like, let's be real. Megan and Willow can take out the boys anytime. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. And but like they got rid of that like pretty quick. They just threw the rule book out the window.
But you know what? Toward the end, when everything was chaotic, it was nice. And I know they probably talked about it because I know Dax and Cash said in interviews is like they're down for anything, but they always want to talk to their opponent, especially when Cash grabbing Willow's hair towards the tail end, and people are like, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, but why not? They probably talked about it, so I feel like Willow wouldn't be okay with something and Dax and Cash would be like, we're not going to do it if she didn't feel comfortable doing it. And we saw that Willow beating up Dax and Cash was great.
Oh yeah.
But it would be Top Gods because that is the name we have for Megan and FTR. So Top Gods defeating Willow, Nightingale, and Jet Speed. But this was a fun main event.
Night Speed.
Night Speed. Again, I want an intergender tournament. I want more intergender trios, but let everybody fight. Like, I feel like AEW is progressive enough where if people work together, we can do stuff like this.
Harley Cameron and Jungle Express.
Oh my God.
The wild animals.
Yeah. Give me a full trios tournament. Like, again, give me a trios or a tag team mixed match challenge if you want to, because it's like we need it for real. So again, that was a lot of fun, but that is how Collision ends. And that was Title Tuesday and Homecoming. This was you know what? Besides the up and downs, again, despite what happened to Dakota, for me personally, I have to give it to Homecoming. Is probably my favorite of the two. But I still enjoy Title Tuesday. But again, Collision is out here just like, yeah, we'll just throw the graps on. And I'm like, yes, give me graps and fun. Collision feels like whoever's doing Collision is like, it's giving me the energy of like, all right, let's throw things to the wall and see what works and what doesn't and work on it. But Collision is always fun for me. Like, I have a good time with Collision.
100%.
Dynamite's fun, but Collision is great. But that is it for the AEW review portion. But oh no, friends, we are not quite done yet because there is a pay-per-view this Saturday. So we're going to quickly go through our predictions for AEW Wrestle Dream. So this is happening this Saturday, October 18th at the start time of 5 p.m. Pacific. So unlike the last couple pay-per-views, it's going to be a late evening, which means we probably won't get done. Like for me, we won't get done until like 10 p.m. Pacific. For the East Coast boys, it probably won't be. It will probably be like 1 a.m. Eastern.
Oh my God.
I think at this point, though, also by the way, total sidebar as we're going into this, Benny, I'm watching World's End with you because I'm down there, so we're doing that.
Y'all better be popping up. Absolutely. I will do a watch along specifically, even though it's not a big four. I will do a watch along for World's End if you all are going to be there together, because that just makes it so much more fun. And what a way to end the year off with World's End, because it is leading into World's End. The way it's scheduled, it's leading into New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, so that should be a lot of fun. But we are going to make our predictions for Wrestle Dream right now. And we're going to start with, I love that we're rebranding 0 Hour to Saturday Tailgate Brawl. So Tailgate Brawl is the new thing, which I'm kind of here for. I'm not going to lie.
Loving it.
I am too. So we got 2 matches scheduled for Tailgate Brawl. The first one being FTR versus Jet Speed. So again, FTR and Jet Speed have kind of been feuding for the last 2-3 weeks. And we're getting a match at Tailgate Brawl. I'm trying to think. So Kevin Knight got a big victory over Dax. FTR and Megan Bayne picked up a win over Jet Speed. I'm pretty sure they're going to continue to fight, but I'm going to go with Jet Speed here. I'm going to pick Jet Speed. I'm going to pick, Sonic and Tails over here to win for this encounter.
I forget what I put in.
You can go back.
I'm like, oh, so like,
Okay, yeah, I know what it is.
I think Jet Speed is gonna take this one, seeing that FTR has sort of gotten the better of Jet Speed in this feud, with it being, I don't know, I was gonna say on pay-per-view, but this is the tailgate brawl thing. But I think it's gonna be Jet Speed.
I'm going FTR. Just to be contrarian.
Hey,
you know what?
Right?
Hey, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But moving on to the second match that we have for Tailgate Brawl, which is another tag team match, but of the women's variety. So we are getting Penelope Ford and the Megasis, Megan Bayne, taking on Willow Nightingale and Feel the Wrath, Harley Cameron. This is one of those similar situations. Megan and Penelope have been kind of on the losing side of things. Willow and Harley won the last Tailgate Brawl, like when they faced in that fatal 4-way, like anything goes type of women's 8-on-8 brawl or 4-on-4 brawl. But I'm going to go with Penelope Ford and Megan here because they lost at the All Out Toronto Tailgate Brawl. Against, Willow and Harley being a part of that 4-person team with Mina and Queen. I think Megan and Penelope are going to win this one, which would give Willow and especially Harley more to go with. So I'm going to go with the Megasis and Penelope Ford here. So I'm going to go with you, JVL, first. What do you got?
I'm also on board with this. I think Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne are going to get this done. I think like Willow and Harley could take the loss right now going into Blood and Guts, whereas these two have kind of lost a lot to everyone else. So yeah, let's give me Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne.
Cool. And then Benny, who you got for this one?
I'm gonna go with Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. I don't have a reason.
You're just like, because I can. It's like, because I can,
because why not?
That is also a fair reason, because why not? So that is the Tailgate Brawl portion. So now let's get into the main card, because currently, unless they decide to add like 80,000 more matches tomorrow night, we currently have 8 matches for the main card. And we're going to first talk about this one, Tekla versus Jamie Hayter. So again, since Jamie's return, Jamie has been embroiled in a war with, her and Queen taking on the Triangle of Madness, and Megan and all these women are fighting. So this is the prelude to what we're getting in November with Blood and Guts. So I am thinking that we still got a while to go. It's really hard because my brain tells me Tekla should win this one because I know Jamie and her team will probably be the ultimate winners of the war. However, because Jamie and Queen got beat up last week and they continue to get beat up on a weekly basis, Jamie's got to win at least one of these. So I'm going to go with Jamie Hayter here because I can't bet against the Haterade. So, yeah. Benny, I'm going to come to you first to switch it up. Who you got between Tekla and Jamie Hayter?
I'm going to go with Jamie Hayter because Tekla seems to be getting the better of this feud for a while. So, welcome back to the AEW pay-per-views, Jamie.
For real. And then JVL, who you got for this one?
So I'm going Jamie Hayter, mostly out of the heart because I love Jamie, one of my favorite wrestlers ever. But also, it makes more sense to me that she gets this win as they're going into Blood and Guts because of something I'm going to call later on in the night because we have a feud that has not been finished that needs to be finished by World's End.
Very, very fair. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. So, okay, moving on. So let's move this gravy train along. So next match that we are going to talk about is this trios match. So it is the Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate. As of right now, there's no other stipulation. Unless they add something for tomorrow. And again, I feel like going from a street fight to a regular trios match is kind of a weird de-escalation in feud. So I'm hoping that they announce something. However, regardless, because of what we've gotten so far in the story-wise, I'm actually going to go with the Demand here. I think the Demand, after getting brutalized in the street fight, I think, unless it is another extreme stipulation, I think they get the lick back here at Wrestle Dream. Not to say that wins on TV don't count, but pay-per-view wins hold a lot more weight, especially in kayfabe when you're considering who should go for championships and stuff like that. So I'm going to go with the Demand here. JVL, who you got for this one?
I'm also going with the Demand.
Okay.
Hold on. My mic's back. Am I back? Hello?
Yes, you are. I was like, it went quiet all of a sudden. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah. No, I'm going with the Demand
I thought it was me.
because... No, I just had a silence problem. Some random Pokemon casted on me. Anyway, speaking of which, Demand wins mostly because I don't think the Hurt Syndicate are going to be around much longer after the next couple pay-per-views. Get this out of the way, set the Demand up to be the nice big powerhouse trio sitting around there. Because the Demand, just in general, if the backstage rumors are true, then they don't want to be there.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with everything you guys have said, and we're going to do a clean sweep on this one. I'm also going with a Demand.
Heck.
For
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So we've all gone with the Demand. So we can easily move on into our next match, which is going to be for... Work with me. There we go. Oh, I went too far. There we go. AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Brodito versus the Don Fallis family, which is made up of Takeshita and Okada in this one. Just because I don't want to see their run end, I'm going with Brodito. Like, that is my only reasoning here. Like, I was like, don't make them be transitional champions. Anyways.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's my reasoning. I don't want to see Brodito's and like reign end, so that is why I'm picking them.
Call on who you wanted to speak next, because we've been kind of going back and forth. So
okay. Well, Betty, you can go up first. So, who you got between Brodito and the Don Callis family?
I'm going to go with Brodito because I think this Takeshita Okada thing might be breaking down, and I just realized this earlier that like I didn't notice, but like Bandito, this mask with the third eye, and then like the Brody boot design like on the handkerchief, I guess it's pretty great. Pretty great. Brodito.
I agree. It's an amazing design. I love it to death.
So
I'm going to
JBL,
go against you two. I'm going to say it's going to be the Dom Fallis family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm picking Dom Fallis family because I feel like they're going to do this thing where they're going to have the two of them having the titles but not being able to coexist, and it's going to be one of the worst things for these titles again until Jurassic Express comes in and beats their butts. But at the same time, I need to see Takeshita holding that IWGP title as he walks the ring.
That is what I really want to see this Saturday. And well, even tomorrow, I'm just like, just let me see that beauty. Oh man, that match, him and Zack Sabre Jr. I'm like, ah. Anyways, that's tune in next Monday. Adolfo and I will be reviewing it, and if anybody else wants to pop on that review, you are more than welcome to as well, because we have a bunch of New Japan folks here in the group. But yeah, so that's gonna be fun. Now let's move on to the other match that I accidentally showed too early. This is a tag team match, but this is for $500K, y'all. And I'm just like, Now, what would be funnier? Watching the Young Bucks gamble their earnings away again in like less than a week, or watching Jurassic Express take said money from the Young Bucks? I'm going to go with Jurassic Express because I'm picking the second option where we're watching them have money and having the Young Bucks lose their absolute shit for being poor. I'm going to go with Jurassic Express just because. Plus, it's their first pay-per-view in like 3 years. Like, you can't have Jurassic Express lose, in my opinion, on their first pay-per-view. So, I'm going with Jurassic Express. But again, depending on what happens tomorrow, like I'll still stick with my choice, but it also might change some things. But I'm gonna go with Jurassic. I'm gonna go with the boy and his dinosaur. JVL, who you got in this one?
This was a toss-up for me, and I'm still not sure I like my decision on this one. And I know what I put in the form, and I want to change it. Yes, I put it in. Now I'm thinking about it. So I put the Bucks in, thinking, yeah, it'd be funnier to like. It would make more sense of the storyline to continue. But I agree with you, Mikey. I think the boy and his dinosaur need to beat them because that would make them more insufferable as heels. I think that's what ends up happening. So I got to go back in and see if I can change that. I'm going with Jurassic Express.
Alrighty, and then Benny, who you got?
Yeah, this is a clean sweep. I actually, as I was running down the prediction form, I was like, well, it would be comedic gold if Jurassic Express beats the Young Bucks to take all that money away and keep the bit going. So, Jurassic Express for the win.
Heck
You
yes.
seem so happy.
Not a fan of Jurassic Express, to be honest with you.
Hey,
That's neither here nor there.
Wow, you're taking the Jesse role here. You just don't like fun.
I love fun. I just don't like Jack Perry.
You know what? That's kind of fair, not gonna lie. But we do move on. So I feel like every match I can make a solid prediction. This is the one that I'm still trying to figure out which way it could go, but I think I settled on it. So this is for the TNT Championship, the Proto Star Kyle Fletcher versus, again, having a different expression even in pay-per-view cards in Mark Briscoe. I'm just like, this man has many faces. So I don't have too much of a reasoning here because I can make a case for either one of them, but I want to keep this short. I'm going to go with the Proto Star because I feel like we still have a couple more things for him to do during this TNT Championship reign before he ends up losing it to probably Mark Briscoe down the line or somebody. But I feel like Proto Star has like a couple more matches in him before I think he loses it at World's End. I think that's where we see the TNT Championship switch hands. But for Wrestle Dream, I'm going to go with the Proto Star here. Benny, who you got between these two?
I'm actually going to say the opposite. I actually believe that the fifth time's a charm for Mark Briscoe. And because there's been sort of a groundswell online about, like, what are we going to do with Mark Briscoe after the MJF feud. So, Mark Briscoe for the win. And new TNT champ.
I would love that. I'm not going to lie. I would be happy either way. JVL, you are now the tiebreaker. Who you got?
I'm going Kyle Fletcher for one simple reason. AEW does not have the budget to reshoot all of Mark Briscoe's different poses with that title belt.
Who's to say they haven't already done that?
They just superimpose the title over on it.
Just bad Photoshop it. Like, you know what?
That actually he's holding in his teeth like Pete Dunne.
I'm not gonna lie. Bad Photoshop would be kind of funny and would be a really good merch seller. Not gonna lie.
I'm going Kyle Fletcher. I'm going Kyle Fletcher.
I love that. I love that so much. Alrighty, so we're down to our last three matches. The first one being our AEW Women's World Championship match. Stat Daddy herself, Straplander, Chris Statlander, defending her newly won AEW Women's World Champion against the timeless one and timeless Toni Storm, who is also changing up poses every card we get of her now, which is great. I'm like, I wonder if her and Mark Briscoe are like had this pact. They're like, all right, we're gonna do like so many different candid photos of us. Like, I love Tony so much. And honestly, this match is going to be a lot of fun because it is Chris and Tony 1-on-1. I am going to go with Stat Daddy to retain here. Like, you don't have her win it and then just give it back to Tony. As much as I love Tony, I feel like Chris is going to retain, and this one's probably easy to pick. JBL, who you got for this one?
So this is what I was talking about before with having Hayter win up at the top there. While I don't want to have Stat be a transitional champion for no good reason and just take it away from Tony, they left so much on the table with Tony's title reign for what's going on that it needs to go back to her for World's End. So Tony beats Statlander here to take it back to do a program with Jamie Hayter going into World's End.
Ooh, interesting. All right, Benny, now you're the tiebreaker. Who you got walking away as women's champion?
So much like when Stat beat Jade for the TNT title, Jade came back for another shot, and Stat put her down again. So Timeless Tony and Chris Statlander for the win. Good old Strap Daddy.
Strat Daddy, love it. All righty. Oh, right, my goodness.
But they just walked right past that joke. Like
I was like, well, I was just like, it's already late enough. We got to get out of here like at a reasonable time because we're almost hitting 2 hours. So we got to go. Hangman, this one's easy for me to pick. Like, there is no way. Now, would I love Joe as champion again? Sure. But I feel like we still got a little bit of juice left with the Hangman. So I'm going to go with Hangman on this one. Benny, I'm coming to you first. Who you got?
I'm actually going to agree. It's going to be Hangman. But they're going to put on a hell of a show.
Hell yeah.
And that poster that they put out the other day is...
Oh my God. It was so beautiful with them, like the Japanese typography, like art style. I'm just like,
yeah,
I was like, listen, my art, we're far enough to this. I'm like, I got an artist boner and I loved it. It was, anyways, JBL, who you got for this one?
Clean sweep Hangman Page.
Hell yeah. Alrighty. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be, but based on everything, and like, I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to be so for real. I kind of want to see this match main event. Like, I feel like this is an I Quit match, which means if we thought that the coffin match at All Out Toronto was going to get nuts and an I Quit match, I was just like, this is going to get crazier. So Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley. I honestly don't know where we're going with this because Darbs and Moxley have been kind of trading blows. I mean, Moxley beat him in the coffin match, which is Darby's staple, but then Darby got the lick back by setting John on fire on the same show later in the evening. This one's a toss-up, but and again, this might bite me in the ass, but because Moxley won the coffin match, I think Darby wins the I Quit match here. So I'm going to go with Darby to win this one. And then Full Gear is right around the corner. And I'm like, what in God's name else can they possibly do against each other? Which is going to be crazy. So I'm going to go with Darbs here. JBL, who you got for this one?
Going straight Darbs, like you said, coffin match was won by Moxley. It's time for Darby to get that thing, and I see a lot of Death Rider interference on this one as well.
Oh, 100%. And you're gonna have Darby's gonna be like, you're gonna have to kill me if you want to beat me. Mm-hmm. So, and then Betty, to kind of wrap it up, who you got between Darbs and Moxley in the I Quit match?
Clean sweep, Darby Allin for the win.
Sweet. Alrighty. Predictions have been put in. I am looking forward to posting these on Saturday morning. So all of y'all at home. It's like, you get to only one. There can only be one.
And I know I told you which one I need to change. Please change it.
All right, just text me and I'll change it because otherwise I'm
Yeah.
totally gonna forget. I'm not gonna lie.
Fine.
But that is gonna be it for our Wrestle Dream prediction. So while I get everything set up, I actually remembered and uploaded it. So guys, let's take a look at how AEW Predictions League is going so far. Hang on, I gotta get rid of the banner. Okay,
Whoa, what?
so So this is where everyone stands after 4 pay-per-views this year for AEW. Benny, since you came on post y'all in Texas, what I ended up doing for y'all in and Double or Nothing is I took the average of mine, JVL's and Professor scores and got that to you. But then everything else from Forbidden Door onwards has been on our own. So this is where everything stands, and it is one hell of a close race because it is really close. I am barely holding on to the top spot with 28 and 11, but right behind me in second place is Benny with 27 and 10, but not far behind in a tie for third is JVL and Professor with 26 and 13.
We're holding hands and going to be the best tag team ever.
So we are at Wrestle Dream, which is going to signify like the half. Technically, we're in the halfway point because Wrestle Dream, Full Gear, and World's End is going to close out 2025, but then the prediction season continues into 2026 with Revolution, and then we end with Dynasty in April as the final thing for predictions. Holy crap, this is going to be really close. So this is a lot of fun for sure. But that's going to be it. Yeah, for reals. But that's going to be it for us here at All Elite Ensemble. I got to get these boys out of here because we've been here for 2 hours and it's a lot. It's a lot. So thank you so much for tuning in. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up for the rest of this week. So make sure to check our socials for those announcements and messages. But until next time, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you later this week for more PC WrestlePod goodness. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.